I'm walking out of there, signed my life away. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell what did I do?
Della is one of 100 million Americans with medical debt, but hers is a little different.
Here comes a girl with a clipboard. She goes, well, we're going to see if we can set you up with CareCredit card. And I go, CareCredit?
She was signed up in the dentist chair by dental office staff for a credit card.
I believe it's just a scam.
As healthcare becomes increasingly unaffordable for working families, medical credit cards are marketing themselves as a perfect solution.
It's our stress-free credit
Flexible
card.
financing.
The CareCredit credit card.
So our medical credit card is the cure.
Well, for many, they aren't.
That in many cases, patients who use these products end up worse off.
My credit is ruined.
I feel like I'm being scammed.
Pues nos exprimen al pagar todo el interés que tenemos que pagar.
This is how multi-billion-dollar banks force their way into your medical exam room.
There should be no door in the doctor's office that opens to a bank.
And the damage they can do once they're in there.
Egregious behavior, like signing people up when they were in the dentist chair.
Being signed up while under anesthesia.
Being charged for services that actually weren't received.
Es un abuso que hacen y abusan que necesitamos el servicio.
I myself was the victim of a predatory medical lending practice at a dentist's office back in 2018.
David Zhao is an attorney in Los Angeles, where he provides community legal services for those affected by medical credit products. At a routine teeth cleaning, David was told he would need a costly treatment.
But they did tell me that I could enter a zero interest payment plan, I remember that wording specifically, with the dentist to cover the cost of this gum treatment. But it turned out I had been signed up for a credit card. I did not know that this had happened until a couple weeks later when the CareCredit arrived in the mail and I reviewed some of the paperwork the dentist had given me and realized I had been charged over $1,000 onto that credit card immediately. And that was a Synchrony bank credit card called CareCredit.
CareCredit really has dominated the market specifically for medical credit cards.
April Kuhnhoff is a senior attorney at the National Consumer Law Center.
Unlike general purpose credit cards, they're typically offered by medical providers, dentist, veterinarian, certain types of clinics, and they're offered in order to allow an extension of credit for that medical procedure at that particular facility.
In 2024, Synchrony Financial, which owns CareCredit, took in $3.7 billion in interest and fees from health and wellness loans.
This is the bill that I get, and it tells you about everything of all this other stuff that if you don't pay, the percentage is very, very high. So yeah, it's $1,000 in debt.
Della Ann Maciel was told that she needed teeth removed and a bone graft, a dental procedure that would not be covered by her insurance. She said she was encouraged to open a CareCredit card.
And I go, so what if I don't do it? And he says, the dentist man comes back and says, well, we won't be able to do it, And I'm going, well, shoot, well, okay. It was to where I was in so much pain, I went ahead and did it. I wasn't taken to a desk. I wasn't taken out of there. It was all done into dental chair.
In a statement to More Perfect Union, Synchrony Financial said that its contracts prohibit providers from presenting financing solutions to patients while they are being treated or while they are experiencing any type of duress or impairment.
Every single one of the cases, we take on the person is signed up while they're in the dental chair, examination chair.
The National Consumer Law Center's report on the medical credit card industry details a number of other problems collected through a survey of consumer advocates.
We also saw reports in our survey about people who were actually fraudulently representing people's income in order to qualify them for financial products, people being charged by that provider for services that actually weren't received.
It just goes on. I have so many Synchrony. Just went on and on. I have files and files of these people.
Victoria Mangrum went to the dentist for a consultation for teeth pain in 2022.
And they stated I needed all my teeth removed and gave me a price that was outrageous that I knew I couldn't afford. And they said, well, you can apply for CareCredit.
Victoria decided not to go through with the procedure at that dental office. What she didn't know was that the cost of the procedure was already charged to a CareCredit account in her name.
Months passed, I was done with them, and I was still researching other people, you know? And so that's when I started receiving mail about me owing. And I was like, I don't owe anything. I'm still walking around with my teeth all jacked up, you know?
She's now being sued for the cost of the procedure she didn't get.
So then I'm laying in my little abode one morning and bam, 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 I'm like, what? And I go in my little box that I'm in here. You've been served? Oh my God.
Victoria thought dental staff were just checking if she was eligible, not actually applying for CareCredit. Consumer confusion like this is understandable when medical professionals are tasked with marketing financial products to patients.
And so that can be an initial problem. Staff who aren't necessarily trained or experts in financial products being the ones who are your point of contact as you're discussing or reading about this product. So they might tell you incorrect things or explain something incorrectly.
A Synchrony spokesperson said that providers are trained through online modules before being allowed to offer CareCredit products and are required to retrain every 2 years. CareCredit is accepted in more than 270,000 providers' offices and health-focused retail locations in the United States.
It really worries me that there are all these cards being offered by people who are not financial professionals and to consumers who are there to get a medical treatment. They're worried about the fact that they have debilitating pain in their mouth. And so even that to me is like a form of duress, where if you're in so much pain, how can you make like a reasoned, rational decision about your financial future at the same time? It's pretty ridiculous.
And turning doctors and nurses and clinic staff into credit card reps sounds ridiculous too. So why is it happening?
So there's always this problem in medicine, in American medicine in particular, where patients are expected to pay at the point of care. And because that payment is expected, then when the patient can't afford it, then the question becomes who foots the bill?
Dr. Luke Messick is an emergency physician and medical debt historian.
What's happened in the last 30 to 40 years is the rise of these middlemen that promise hospitals and doctors prompt payment by taking the debt off of their books quickly and entirely. CareCredit and Synchrony is one of them.
The private insurance model of American healthcare can be frustrating for patients, but it can also cause administrative burden and financial strain for providers. That's what could make products like CareCredit so appealing. Where insurance could take weeks to pay providers, CareCredit promises payments in 2 business days. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has warned that in many cases, patients who use medical credit products end up worse off because of less favorable terms than generic credit cards, like higher interest rates and provisions like deferred interest.
So what we're looking at is a copy of my CareCredit contract from 2018, which is what I was handed in the dental chair. And this is where the deferred interest is hidden in the contract.
Under a deferred interest payment plan, a customer would pay no interest during the promotional 6, 12, 18, or 24-month term. If they paid it off in the promotional period, they would have gotten it truly interest-free. But if they didn't,
even if there was like literally just 1 cent left on the card, what they would do is kick in a deferred interest plan where like 27% would be charged on the card of the initial amount that had been put on the card. So not on the remaining balance.
say I had a 1-year deferred interest plan for $2,500, and I'm paying $200 a month. By the end of the plan, I still have $100 left on my loan, but at 25% APR, I now automatically owe more than $300 in interest right away.
And then that would start to compound at the higher interest rate.
Patients applying online for CareCredit today would get 33% APR on a deferred interest plan.
Then they say that minimum monthly payments are required, but that if you make the minimum monthly payments, it may or may not actually pay off the full amount. So the minimum payments that they're suggesting for me actually would not result in me avoiding that huge APR at the end of the year. So kind of setting me up for failure here.
According to the NCLC report, 47% of surveyed consumer advocates said they had clients who were told they were getting a 0% interest plan, when it was actually a deferred interest credit card.
Other practices that we'll see, though, are the upcharging. So, for example, once a medical provider is able to get someone signed up for one of these credit cards, they will start adding things to the credit card. So, for example, a goodie bag.
Eso es todo, lo de mi kit de $500.
¿Y te parece que vale $500 lo que tiene ahí?
Ay, yo pienso que no.
Martha Castro went for a routine dental cleaning in 2022.
Her case is particularly troubling because she was actually signed up for CareCredit in the dental examination chair while she had local anesthesia applied, and she was handed forms while she could not feel her mouth.
Te le digo a la muchacha, se me está pasando la anestesia, yo soy diabética y me están poniendo mucha anestesia. Ya va a venir, te vamos a poner una poca. Me pusieron como 3 veces anestesia.
When she realized the goodie bag she didn't ask for actually cost her $500, she tried to return it.
Hablé a la tarjeta, le dije que no pagaran eso, que porque no lo quería. Luego no lo paguen, dijo ya lo pagamos.
Synchrony Financial says that consumers are provided a variety of clear and conspicuous disclosures as part of the application process, and that about 80% of cardholders with a deferred interest plan pay off their balance before the end of the promotional period.
I think the fact that people are able to pay it off doesn't mean that the practices aren't predatory. Some people just have the financial resources to do so.
Martha decided to just pay off the charge for the goodie bag, which she never used, to avoid being sued.
Abusan de que uno no le dan tiempo a leer todo y no le explican bien.
Della decided that she too would pay it off for the sake of her credit score.
You know, on a fixed income, I'm paying $167 a month. You know, it's a big chunk out of my little money.
Victoria's court date is set for March 2026. David is helping with her case.
You can't fight this alone. These are billion-dollar companies doing whatever they can to the poor.
Some states have already tried to implement protections against predatory medical credit card practices, like requiring patients to fill out their own credit card application forms, or banning the promotion of third-party financing in treatment areas, or banning deferred interest credit products for providers entirely. But these piecemeal solutions don't really get to the root of the problem.
The biggest crack is the for-profit healthcare system, our insurance system, that leaves open this door for people to have to finance privately things that could be, important for their health. In a perfect world, people should have medically necessary treatment covered by their insurance. They should not have to resort to a private lender, and doctors shouldn't have to deal with any of this. There should be no door in the doctor's office that opens to a bank.
Thank you so much for watching our video. If you'd like to see more stories like this one, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to get more Perfect Union in your feed. And if you have any ideas for stories that you would like for us to investigate, just drop them in the comments below.